Don't crash. Hello. Hello. What's up? This is a test. This is a test tonight. Somehow you're coming on here. You don't know who I am. I'm an astrologer. My name is Nicholas. I am human. Well, at least I think I am. Regardless, I'm stuck on this planet. So I consider myself human, and I consider myself an astrologer, at least in this point in my life. I did have other identities in other parts of my life. So, and all of that is funneled into this moment. And anyway, if you're new, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing some tests. I don't know if I'm going to keep this video up. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about the astrology. I feel like my mic is kind of hot. So yeah, there's that and a couple other things. So if you're in chat, you're watching, say hi. I want to know, make sure if you can hear me and see me, because I'm changing some things up here around here. And maybe even the look of this. So you might not notice it, but I'm noticing it on my end. Saying that, I might pull up a couple charts, current chart, and some sounds I need to test through my mixer. Like maybe you're hearing now. I don't know if they're loud enough. So there's that. Okay, so hey, see Julie in chat. Hello. Hi. All right, another test. Hello, Sherry. You can hear me. That's great. Thanks for your input. How's it look? How does it look? How's the lighting? Speaking of, I need to do something. This changes the lighting. It might be too bright right there. Hello, Scorpio Muse. Good to see you. Here later tonight. I mean, it's 7:25 Pacific where I am. Who knows where you are? If you're on the East Coast, it's 10 something, isn't it? If you're somewhere else, it's even later. Or it could be that it's earlier. Maybe you're in Hawaii. I wish I was in Hawaii. So saying that, I don't know how long I'm going to do this test for and stream tonight, but there's a couple things I want to do, and it is this. So saying that, I'm looking at myself here, and it looks decent. I have a little bit of glare here. As part of one of my tests are, I'm going to do something as in adjust there. That's a little bit less, isn't it? It's kind of dark. And then I'm going to get to, okay. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Hello in Sri Lanka. Wow. I'm catching you out there. How's life over there? What time is it over there? I'm going to call you I'm going to call you Sus Mars. So in chat, but I see you. I see you there. I'll pop this out so I can work my chat here. Wow, Sri Lanka. Palmer Paints is in the chat too. Hello. Germain Pujol in Sydney. How's fall? How's the beginning of fall in Sydney? How is it over there? Beautiful place. Missing it right now. I didn't even do what I haven't even really seen that city. Only just a small part of that place. But from what I saw and experienced, it was good. Hopefully I'll be there to check out more of the city. It's good to have you here. It's 8 a.m. in Sri Lanka, and it's super hot. Wow. I could use some of that. Super hot. Nadia is in chat. Yeah. So this doesn't sound loud enough. This music that I got going. It's sort of low end. So there's that. I need to do this. I need to test this, which I usually have. I think it looks good on the screen. I don't know if you're noticing it yet, but my lighting's a little different, and it might not be as harsh as it usually is. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. But hey, I'll put this over here, and we'll look at the current transits on this midweek update and midweek technological thing I'm doing right now. I need to see something else here before I start up. And there's some blue there. And I kind of like the hint of that. So I'm going to leave it right now. And I don't like... Pay attention to the lighting right now because I'm going to go back. I'm going to bump this up. And I will go back to there. So it'll go the original way I had it. Hey, J.S. Ballard. Good to see you in chat. Good to see you in chat here. Hey, check this out. Here, we got it, right? This is it. There we got a Moon-Jupiter conjunction that's been happening today. Pretty interesting, decent. Mercury rules this here in Pisces. See that there? You see that? That's interesting, isn't it? So what we have is a mutual reception going on. And so basically, Jupiter is the dispositor and the ruler of Pisces. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and so hence we have a mutual reception. Pretty good for now. Part of the reason why I wanted to do a test stream and see how this goes. As of tomorrow, Moon's going to do, well, in less than 24 hours, the Moon is going to do some harsher aspects in Gemini. So, we're going to do official squares here with all this Pisces stuff that you could see right here. All this stuff is building here as we speak. Okay? But Mercury in this mutual reception kind of gives it a little bit of a not so harsh of a tone, not so harsh of a square. So saying that, that's other reason why I wanted to test my stuff today or tonight. But the other part of this is Mercury being in Pisces here. And if you look at the degree of this, it's 27 degrees. And we will go back to, I'll say 2 months. And I want to go back here. I'm going to start at the beginning of February, and I'll do 3 months. While I got this weird music going on. Needed to know if that's working while I do this. So basically, you could. Actually, I missed it by a month. Let's go. I'll show you on this ephemeris. I'm going to pick mid-January actually and run this. So basically, we could see in January. That Mercury was in Pisces, there's 16 degrees on the 20th-ish and then basically you could see here it was basically from January 26th when Mercury was at 24 Pisces, and it moved all the way to 0 degrees Aries until we got to February 4th here, and that is the space that we're in right now. We're entering. Timothy Reynolds, good to see you in chat for this test. You let me know if the sound and everything comes in clear. I think it is. So saying that, here is Mercury in this place, 27 degrees, where it was, let's say exactly, let's just remember where this was here. It was 27 degrees, right? January 25th to the 26th is what was happening here. Okay. Interesting thing is Mars was retrograde in Cancer at 22 degrees. Okay. So let's make a note of that. Let's go look where Mars is in the chart. We just hit that 22 degree place so many days ago. Now you see Mars is at 24. We have an interesting overlap here with a couple planets. Venus too is all in this on the overlap where things right now are connected to January, and some of the conversations that were happening in Mercury and Pisces that were come up, if you can remember them, if you saw what was going on, and the relationship also to Mars in Cancer, which was retrograde back there. So you have this relationship, a trine relationship between Mars and Mercury. Interesting conversations probably were happening at that point to prep us for the eclipse time and the Mercury and Venus retrogrades. So saying that, I wanted to take a look at this chart tonight besides doing a technical test, so on and so forth. So saying that, let us look. I'll go by the hour here, but I'm actually going to I'll go to my end tomorrow around 7. I'll pick 7:29 in the morning my time. And we already then have had a moon square Saturn situation that happened on the way there. You could see this here, right here, 24, 25 degrees. And then we do moon square Venus eventually, the node, and Mercury. See, we're doing that. And so it's the conversations the last 24 hours and for the next 24, I think are very important this week to set ourselves up for what is about to happen after the moon goes into Cancer. I talked about this on my weekly video. That's when we get into the deeper conversations, and I think are huge when it comes to the Aries and Cancer parts of your chart, because these are the areas that are focal points with the recent eclipse that we have, Aries birthdays, Mercury was in Aries, Venus was in Aries, etc., etc. You know what I'm talking about here. I hope you do. So saying that, that is what is ahead of us. It's then it turns into waterworks, basically, because at 3:49 p.m., I'll just skip it an hour here. It's just 4 something I got here. You could see the moon enters Cancer and starts off the waterworks. And basically, we have off the bat a moon Neptune square with newly Neptune in Aries, which I think is just like doesn't even know it's there yet, even though it's there mathematically. It is like a body of water that is bubbling up to the surface, but calm, seemingly. So anyway, there is the moon square Neptune, and we're into it now. And so I think it's very important this week, as I mentioned, that moon square Neptune at 4:07 p.m. And then it's later on at night here and going into the 4th, which I'll move forward, is Mercury is conjunct the North Node. Remember, this Pisces is ruled by Jupiter in Gemini right now. So the conversations earlier today, next 24 hours, the things that Mercury rules, conversations, things from getting point A to point B, the messages getting crossed possibly because it's retrograde, all this stuff, even connected to January when Mercury is in Pisces, hits a serious, interesting place here. And we move from a Gemini communicative mindset, at least emotionally, to a Cancer moon. And it builds because we know Mars is in Cancer, and so the moon is basically going that direction. Now, this could work a couple different ways. I'm just going to go off the top of my head like I did in my forecast. Basically, when we get to this place here, I actually think at 11:53 p.m. on the 3rd and the 4th, I'm getting tangled in my new cords over here, by the way. Totally having retrograde stuff happening under my desk here right now. Tangled in the cords. So basically, we have this moon. Hot spring. Thank you, J.S. Ballard. I think you understood what I was getting there. Someone understands what I was saying. Someone was figuring it out as I was figuring it out. I have to laugh because my brain is been wild. So again, a very interesting, sensitive place with the Mercury conjunct the North Node. Yes, the imaginative, the hypnotic at times. But hey, this is a very important place for a bigger reason. It's always bigger, I think, with Pisces in the end. So I could say the more insight type of thing, right? I could say it with this, but something else, and I don't quite know what it is yet. And one thing I could say is that there's a message happening here that really is part of the North Node, South Node Virgo, North Node Pisces thing for the year and into next year. There is something here. I just don't think it's super clear. I think it appears later on, the messaging. And so imagine if, it was Mercury in Pisces, which can be very poetic, but very scattered, delusional, but also different way. It could be mystical. It just depends on your story, depends on certain things here, but there's something kind of being swam through, and the planet's going backwards. So again, Mercury's going to hit the North Node again after it moves forwards. Maybe it's clear by then, but maybe it's not about the clarity here per se. The type of clarity that could happen could be transcendent or come in a way that's that is more spread out. So it's not necessarily like the moon in Gemini now with Jupiter, that kind of tweaky mind thing for the last couple of days. It's a little different here after, Mercury hitting the node and the moon being in Cancer. I would be careful with conversations the next several days into the weekend. And the reason being is things are intense. And if we're not completely clear, but we're swimming through emotional waters with the moon in Cancer, which eventually, by the way, I'll get to that. And Mercury North Node here, we want to be present in exchange, listening, talking, but do we bet everything on that? Do we? Is it like a lock? And it's not a lock, is what I'm saying. So speaking of Mercury retrogrades and the things that happen during Mercury retrogrades, is that, and so that kind of thing is, I see in chat says retrograde snafus are real. Yeah, they are, and I think that happens a little bit differently this time. GME, I see you in chat. What's up? Mani, I got to say what's up because they said that comment here in chat. They came in here and they go, retrograde snafus. I am one giant raw nerve. Whew, yeah, that's intense, Moni. Julie's in chat says 8th house Cancer moon natally, which means Sag rising. Maybe. Okay, so anyway, Jupiter ruled. Saying that, let's point this out again. So be present here as we move through this and go to the moon in Cancer. And it's not etched in stone is what I'm saying. It's almost where the words and the emotions must run over the stone. before it's etched. We'll get to the etching is when we start to move forward the next couple of weeks. But I think this is the place here. And mind you, so let's just keep going. I'm going to show you some stuff here. I'm basically doing a forecast on my technical test tonight. So we'll move to the 4th. Kate Johnson in chat says, hey, I noticed Mercury RX. That's retrograde. Conjunct the North Node has shown me my adaptability in the superpower I have gained because of it. Whoa, Kate. Well, that is a great way of looking at it. All happening in my 10th house. So, I see. So, all happening in your 10th house. Yeah, plus if you're Mercury ruled, which you might be, Gemini rising, you might be Mercury ruled. This is a biggie. Anyway, and which means you've been doing Jupiter-Saturn squares since last year. That's another thing, people. Anybody who's got mutable angles or planets mutable here is a major moment with this retrograde, but this movement here with Mercury going into Pisces, being part of the Saturn and Pisces story here for the last 2 years or whatever it is, 2.5 years, but the Jupiter-Saturn squares is very important what's happening here, right? So anyway, hey, hello, I see, I can't even pronounce your name in chat. Happy Gemini moon to you. Wow, I tried on this Mercury stream. I really did. But anyway, so saying that, that's what's up. Let's go the next day. I'm gonna go to my morning. It's gonna be on the 4th to do this, and yeah, let's pick this spot and let us go here to what is sneakily in the background this week, which is some interesting stuff, and it's the Saturn Uranus sextile that's happening here, where Uranus is kind of bringing in a little something to Saturn and to the whole Piscean world, to be honest. And remember, Venus rules Saturn, so it kind of comes back to this Venus placement in the end. There's some sort of, if Saturn is building something and has been in Pisces, and Uranus comes in, it kind of throws its side idea here. That is a little surprise to Saturn and Pisces, which it actually needs. I think it needs. It's a little too cold. A little too cold of it, a little too rooted in the story, maybe. A little too restrictive. And Uranus kind of throws a little bit of magic over there, and not in a harsh way, and it does it from an earth sign. So, and not only that, Venus is at home or is at one of her homes basically in Pisces. So we bring some moisture here to a Saturn and Pisces situation here, which is good because we need a little bit of that, especially if it's damn cold and ass dry, okay? And just a little too, it's crackling, it's not eczema. What the fuck am I saying that for on this test stream? So anyway, but that is what's happening here, is a little bit of something, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of liberation from Uranus here to Saturn. That is in the background. Hey, pretty cool, huh? Dig it. Hey, doing the same thing with Mars here too. So the water story here gets a little, Uranus is in the mix, all of a sudden appears. That one of these outer body planets just appears out of nowhere for a sextile this week. And just, it's super brief. It's like a moment in time, but it throws something here. And all of this leads, to the moon being the ruler of Cancer and that ruler of Mars in Cancer and Venus here. And as you can see, we have a building Mars-Venus trine happening. I actually dig the transits. I know this could be harsh in other ways, but you take this knowing that Mercury's retrograde and Venus is retrograde. You take it and you try to find something there. It's all water here. It's all water. Maybe no words, but yes. Give me a second. See beautiful chaos in here. Melissa, hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I kind of did this late. I'm testing things, and so I know some of you in different parts of the world, different time zones, who might not normally catch the time are going to catch it here. So, tell me how you like the lighting. It's some new lighting I got going on. That's part of the reason why I'm testing things, so on and so forth. Like if I have to decide. I gotta decide if this works like this. It's kind of dark here with blue in the back, or is it better filled in like that? Anyway, so there's other things. So saying that, good to see you, Melissa. Oh, it's Latin for because I said so. That's funny. That's good. That is good. So let me just roll off a couple key words here. I want to roll off a couple key words, okay? And I'm going to read here. I'm going to read some Piscean words. How about that? Let me see if I could do this. Selfless. Well, yeah, totally. They can also, I think you know what? I think some Pisceans, part of the story that's going on with the retrogrades is I actually think we've been talking about Aries and what Aries has to learn from Pisces here with the eclipses and everything else that's going on with these planets, the Venus retrograde and Mercury going there. I think it has to go back into Pisces. It has to learn something before it kind of wants to put itself into the world and initiate its will, okay? And there's lessons to be learned here from Pisces. Could be, anyway, I'll get into that in a second, but I actually think Pisces is learning from Aries here. And it's not, so Aries isn't alone in the story. All the Piscean peeps and planets too have to learn. Now, I just said a word, selfless. I'm going to say now on the other end that Pisces maybe needs to be selfish. Now, it's how it happens. Can it learn a little bit of how an Aries would be selfish? Can an Aries learn to be selfless like a Pisces? That's a challenge right there, I think. But, many people who are born in Pisces birthdays and Aries birthdays, a lot of times are going to have Pisces planets. Like the Pisces people are going to have Aries planets in their chart a lot of the times. Aries born people, they'll have a Piscean planet or two possibly. Just depends on the year. So I always think it's interesting. So anyway, saying that, sensitive. I'm talking Pisces word. Sensitive, otherworldly. That's definitely going on this week. Chameleon. Sacrificial. That's a huge one. That's huge right there. Now it's just how, right? So saying, oh, you guys are contributing in chat. I'll get to that in a second. I'll bust it out. But, I have my things that I've written down on my paper today on my notes just because I was doing that. And by the way, I always have to do Astro preschool to myself once a week. What I mean by that is like I'm always trying to get better with wording on this channel because I'm doing these streams and channeling them off the top of my fucking head. Some of it's planned. I mean, some of the stuff, but other things. The reason why I do these lives is to do this, is to get better constructing. So, but it's my way of practicing. I just do it live because I have the fucking balls to do that, basically. Anyway, so that's not the Pisces in me. That's something else. That's the Mars in me. So anyway, forgiving, reclusive, interesting, fragile, healer, imaginative. I'll go to the chat, see what they're saying here. I thought I saw words. Anyway, I like the lightning. Beautiful Chaos says, but the lighting. Okay, I see. Maybe warmer over cooler. I see what you're saying. Thank you. I know. It's pretty. It's at a 5400 Kelvin. I see boundless and dramatic ostrich. Those are good. Self-focus feels like selfishness for the Pisces. I know. Yeah, beautiful chaos. Dig it. So anyway, saying some of these words. Okay, now I'm gonna say the moon here. Needs, essential needs, conditioning, nurturing, emotions, the past, origin, ancestry, history, roots, soup, emotional behavior, habits. We know moon stuff. I'm saying these words to you to trigger the words in you about moon and about Pisces and about Cancer stuff, because that's where the conversations are going to end up this weekend. And I'm basically reminding you that in these places, hopefully decisions aren't fully made, even though I think it could feel that way for some people. So be perceptive to that. Again, Mars also in the mix with a sextile with Uranus. I dig it. But the big thing here in all of this is, and I think of Uranus kind of throwing its something here in the story we're really lucky for, the timing. And the big thing is the Saturn-Mars trine that is happening here. And so this is a solidifier, but I don't think it's a decision maker because of where Mercury and Venus is. But it's definitely foundational, and it will play itself out. Be patient with this one, but this is pretty good. And if you have things in later degrees, third decan of mutable, you've been dealing with stuff for a while. Again, anybody's been really affected by a Jupiter-Saturn square that's been happening here. We had the second one at the end of December, the first one at the end of August or whenever it was. Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrogrades, all this stuff kind of comes to an interesting place here. And there is a foundation that's being solidified here. And that's what Mars and Saturn do. And if you give them a chance, if you give Mars and Saturn a chance and they have the contractual something, we're not signing it yet. But if you look at the degrees of where this is at, 24-ish, so these degrees, you got to know that Mercury's going to go over this place or Venus is going to go over this place. We're going to look at that in a second. And it's going to play itself out. But I wouldn't rush on things. But no, during these conversations, you're setting up something between the Cancer and Pisces parts of your chart. And that Mars in Cancer is also really the basis of all the Aries stuff that's going on. So be patient, have trust this is what I'm saying to you. And if the conversations are difficult the next couple days and it's emotional, because it will be, or you're in your own emotional place and maybe some of you are used to doing this, then know that there is something foundational there. Some things need to be hashed out. I in particular don't want a caustic hashing out. I want a contemplative hashing out. I want at times, the listening and taking things in and hopefully the reciprocal. Am I saying for you to surrender? It depends on what that word means for you and what it means in these parts of your chart. Some people aren't going to surrender. Some people are protecting themselves right now, and I get it. But we're also open. So sometimes when we have things in the protective mode, we shut everything out. We kind of want to let a little bit of something seep in as long as you feel safe. Remember, we're coming out of Mercury and Venus transits that were in Aries where it's warrior-like. It wanted to be, and then it couldn't because they started to go backwards. And then we're back here now. Now we're really in a contemplative place, in a feeling place. But in the background here, we have this incredible Mars-Saturn trine. And again, if I'm correct here, I'll look it up. But I'll look to chat in a second. But really do something with this. Doing something with this could just be listening to it to see what transpires in front of you. But it's a little sneaky over there with the transits, with the Venus and Mercury retrograde, right? It's a little sneaky. And like you can pass it over and get caught up with everything else, but no, like, oh, actually that Mars and Saturn trining each other means we can build it. And it's not can we build it, it has some fucking soul in it. You know, it isn't some cerebral building in a sense. It's a soul contract. It could be in a positive, in a beautiful way with history and depth in there, right? So, and I say history because in a sense you have Saturn in a way it does its history, and you have Mars in Cancer, the way it deals with the past, but how things move forward. So even in a situation like this, one could go of a Saturn-Mars position here with the moon in Cancer of moving forward, at least feeling like getting a certain type of crystallized vision with Mars and then having to move through it emotionally. So if one is stuck in an emotional place and then Saturn and Mars are connecting in a certain way, and the moon is coming through and Uranus is kind of throwing a little curveball to help it out, it could actually be a moving forward. It's just not the moving forward that one seems like, oh, step 1, step 2, step 3, like logically moving forward with one gauging time. It's a different type of time thing is what I'm saying. And so for me, it's something I've personally been thinking about in my own life about what this is and not to rush it. I don't have to rush this. And I know the rest of the transits, but especially with Mars and Saturn, I was like, last week I had a revelation. I've been staring at the transit, but I felt it myself. I'm like, oh, this next week, it's so weird coming out of the eclipse. And there's some harsher stuff. And I think, I won't get into the politics of things, but there's tension out there. But secretly, there's got this Mars-Saturn thing. I'm like, this is pretty good. And it will show itself to me even if I don't know it fully. But if I have the feeling and the intuitive part of it, like a more Cancer connecting to Pisces water thing, I'm like, can I trust it? I think you can trust the base core of it, but you still know that details and certain things will have to reveal themselves in the next coming weeks, okay? But can you have a certain type of moving through some sort of emotional stagnation? And on the bigger end of things, with Aries peeps having to deal with the retrograde, they're doing this too, and they might not know how to do it. And this is why we're grateful for planets going backwards when they're most powerful, when planets are retrograde a lot of times. And then Saturn and Mars are here. And listen, Mars has done a lot of movement here the last 8 months, okay, in Cancer. It has been waiting for a aspect like this, with Saturn. And it's basically on its way out to going into Leo. And one of the most major aspects it's going to do, basically, is with Saturn, and then it's going to North Node its way out, basically, with the North Node in Pisces. And after this, it's going to hit Venus and Mercury. So you know what happens. Some of you following the transits. Anyway, so saying that, I went on some rant. So I am looking at chat. Hey, Cosmic name Tassie, Cosmic Dance. I see you in chat. Hello, woke up early. 5:50 in Helsinki. Good morning. Good morning. So Melissa says, it feels like Saturn and Mars looking at each other, putting their sunglasses on, then in harmony saying, let's go fuck shit up. Yeah. I think they are connecting in harmony. And I also think there's an acknowledgement. I think a lot of times with emotional content, like talking to a guy with Aquarius moon, so I'm going to talk about this way. So I think a lot of transits in water signs, if they are to be fulfilled or seen for what it is, have to do with acknowledgement and confirmation. Because a lot of times I think with emotions, whether we're present in them, we know what's going on within ourselves, or we don't know what's happening with somebody else. A lot of what it is getting to a place of knowing how one is feeling or acknowledging how another person is feeling. So it's just that in itself is a big part of it, what it is, right? And then there's other things that come along with that, right? But a lot of the times it's a certain acknowledgement. It's different when something is an air sign or mind. Things are coming through the mind and they're fluttering, or there's something clear that you see. It's a different type of acknowledgement. And it's somewhere. So in water, I think part of the water process when it is flowing has to do with the acknowledgement and seeing it, feeling it for what it is in the space. And then being present for however long one needs to be or feels like they're in the feeling. And so it shifts, right? Or moves through. And it's really, I think, my opinion, how I acknowledged it, or have I acknowledged it with somebody else on the opposite side of me, vice versa, So, Kathy Lewis, hello. Hello, Redwoods, California. Good to see you here, Kathy. Angela with a super chat on me. Thank you. Thanks for my little test stream tonight. Thank you, Angela, who is a member of my channel, along with Mani and several others in here. They're paid members. By the way, I'm doing my paid members and paid Patreon members know that Sunday I'm doing my open Zoom call for the month. I know some of you are going to drop by. You saw it in the post on the community private tab. Anyway, so saying that, my Cancer ascendant, Beautiful Chaos, says it's 25 degrees. I've been getting cooked. Yep. Well, maybe you could turn the cooking around and make it some good vittles. I have something at 25 Cancer in my chart, by the way. And I'm going to try something here. I'm going to... Now, there's a little bit warmer temperature there that I did with the lighting. So I'm going to check that later on. So, Sparkles of Rants, wake me for this. Hi. Melissa says, yes, so true. A solidifying of the topic that's being felt and putting a tone on it. Yes, that well said. Yeah. Hey, AV from the Bay Area. We got people from all over the world on this one tonight, a stream. So, saying that, and then I've been using these. Part of my test tonight is these headphones. I've been using them for years, and they work, but they fall out my ears. Isha, hello in chat. Another channel member. Hope you're all surviving. I hope you're surviving. Hope you're surviving. Good decision, by the way. No IG. So let me Mars trine Saturn. Moon will square the sun, right? Let's just do that. I'm going to do something at the end of this stream. Is the other part of my test. I'll get to it here in a second. It's not perfect, but I got to try it live. Yeah. So we know the moon's doing its square, so we're coming out of the eclipse, etc., etc. All right, let's go to Saturday, because here's where, to me, is very important. I'm going to move all the way to my Saturday, which is the 5th, all the way to about, I'll pick this, 8 something in the morning, and it's basically here. The moon is going to square Chiron. Okay? I need to do something. There. Okay, so the moon here, square Chiron. Where am I? Right here. Those who have tight aspects to this, it's just a monthly thing. Okay, put it that way. So there's that. And then we do that. Then we do the moon connecting to our pal that was helping us out earlier in the week, Uranus. We have a sextile that's going to happen, right? That's going to happen at 12:20. So that's why I did a video this week called Moon Travels, because of so many moon aspects this week is amazing. Then we do I'll pick there. And then we do, some of it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to do Moon Saturn trine, Moon Venus, Moon Mercury, eventually North Node. You're seeing something else on the screen here. I'll get to that. And obviously, we see this aspect here that's there, which is huge to me. And everything that I'm talking about here, what we talked about here with Moon trine Saturn, now here comes the moon moving through, actually touching Saturn and Mars here with Venus. So what else do you want, people? 4:34 p.m., eventually, moon will hit the 27-degree North Node. And then as a trine, and it's at 9:34 on Saturday and going into Saturday the 6th that the moon will go into Leo, okay? So I think that's going good. Then after all that explanation, I will point something else out here. Yeah. AV says these transits were wild. Oh my goodness, how's everybody holding up? Good question. I'm sort of holding up. AV, oh, you guys are talking in chat. Which is interesting, by the way, because the United States chart, one of them you use, has made, I think, a major Cancer in the chart. We have these massive protests sort of happening Saturday here, which is interesting timing. So think about this. If everything I just said on the stream, and there's going to be a lot of people on the streets or wherever going to go on Saturday protesting. And so if any of you have ever been part of any protests in the streets or anything like that, or actions, I have a history in that in another lives that I had. If it's a really dialed in one, you put in a lot of energy and a lot of emotion into things, and we're going to catch that this week, and people need to get it out. The most important thing, I will tell you, if anybody out there is going to do something like this weekend, is, you have a plan, okay? And let's say you're in it's a little bit more fiery in situations on the streets. It gets that way. You have a plan. You know where to go. You have a backups. You have somebody who watches you. Here's the biggest thing. It's water and it's food. After what I just said here, when you are emotionally charged and dialed in on depending on the action, or maybe it's mellow, maybe it's intense for you, you just do not pay attention to your water intake and to your food. So make sure you pack some good snacks with you. Interesting things are with stuff like this. Sometimes you meet new people, and let's say you come out of an action, or there was some like friendly gathering. It wasn't so intense. Maybe ask that stranger if you connected with them. Let's go get a bite to eat. Let's talk, and do it. Mars, Cancer with Saturn, Moon and Cancer. It's a great situation to establish bonds for the future if you're the type of person that knows that we're in it for the long haul, because it is a long haul. And how you meet people in community and in situations. Food is one of the binding things besides screaming together in the streets or vocalizing or creating together. Maybe you're part of a protest. Acknowledgement is creativity you're doing just with several people somewhere. Whatever that you're going to do, use food in it, or end it with food, or end it with a hot cup of something. Some people might end up with some beers. I don't know. They're gonna share a hybrid on the street, and then they're gonna go get some fries. I don't know, but just putting it out there for you. I think it's the best advice I'm going to give on the stream. Is this weekend, we don't know what's going to happen. It could be chill, it could be not, but you still got to eat regardless, and you got to know when your adrenals are gone and when you're fried. Another piece of advice is, as someone who was involved in certain things, and you're one to get into the rush and run on adrenaline, that you have to know when to stop, and you have to understand the long-term game with this, because other people need to step into your place. And sometimes you get high off of this and you'll crash and burn. Like you're doing it for months, or everybody's watching the fucking threads every day and all that. You have to gauge yourself and know that the stuff is going to be there. There's other people to come into your place to speak their truth, the power. And you know when to pull away. It's a good lesson this weekend in this, because it's not going away. And if you can understand how you fit in it all, in this all, and where you find your place and your boundaries, it's good. You got to see where you feel in it all. Okay. So saying that, I didn't know I was going to do that. Maybe is in chat. I love the cosmic music you add to your readings. It really touches me. Venus, Mercury conjunct in Pisces. Let us ascend. So anyway, so thank you for that comment. And yeah. Oh, is it Al or AI? Fed worker, Cancer rising, trying to hold it together. Good advice. I am, yes, our federal worker here. I feel for you. This is some bullshit, I feel for you. I feel it, and I think a lot of us do, in whatever way that you're doing it, or whatever. You find whatever you can to help you feel grounded in this shit-ass times for a lot of us. So saying that... Oh, BCB is here, one of my paid members here. Good to see you. And K. Michelle, if I didn't say hi to you. Yeah. All right, so I mentioned that as my test. And then I want to go to the day here because I need to do this. And it's here basically, officially. We're going to do the Mars-Venus trine that's happening here. That happens at 5:13 a.m. on Sunday, April 6th, my time. Moon's in Leo. We'll do our first moon, Neptune, fire trine. And then it's Moon Saturn or Venus Saturn on the next day. Let's just do it. And I'll be done with this. I didn't know I was going to do another forecast that I did on my video this week, but I just needed, I think the lighting I changed is a little bit warmer right now. This is kind of my test. So saying that, let us do a Venus conjunct Saturn position that's coming up on Monday at 4:01 a.m. I will do it like this and like that. So here you see, and it is here that we have a massive moment with Venus Saturn. I'm digging this. Remember, we're going to do this for the third time again. Remember, we're at this 23 to 26 degree water place that we were doing earlier in the week that we did previously. Since I did this earlier in the stream about Mercury, the last time Mercury was in these degrees of Pisces, which was the third week of January, then we are going to show it here for when the last time Venus was at 25 degrees-ish. And where am I here? It was basically the week of the 28th and the 29th of January, the same time. If you, it's hard to see here, but Mercury was doing the same thing. It was Venus Mercury. So you remember these areas here. We're back here again during the retrograde part for our second Saturnian position here, a hit that we're having. This is where we start to get some really interesting insight that will eventually apply in the next couple weeks. Just want to make a note that we're going into the end of January again here and hitting this point with Venus Saturn. This could be hard, could be very difficult, a reality check if you're affected by this. It also can be, and that's why I think it's okay. Listen, you're going to hear people like Mars is not at home in Cancer. We know that, but you got to deal with it in times. So you take the trines that happen with the damn other planets and just get over it. As a matter of fact, I don't want Mars to go into Leo. I like Mars being in Cancer right now. I've gotten used to it. It's done wonders for me. It's done wonders for me. You know what? I got this 25 degree Mars and Cancer placement. I'm looking at this my next weekend and stuff, and I'm going to have a reality check. It might be hard. At the same time, I am grateful because I'm not clueless, not because I'm an astrologer, because I know what's going on. I'm ready. I'm ready to accept the message. I'm not going to go on social media and start bitching about like, oh, I can't wait till Mars goes into Leo. It's just like, what do you tell the people who got Mars in Cancer? Like they suck, basically. Anyway, this is the same rant I do every once a month on this channel about the way people talk about planets and detriment, all this kind of shit. Not saying it isn't mean something, but it's like, let's be honest. You know the other thing I'm going to say. People write like that stuff on social media because it's the way to sell fucking readings. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, you want to know my feelings on a Moon, Jupiter night and Gemini? That's what it is. That we know what it is. It's going to be. I'm going to say it once a month on this damn live stream. I'm going to say it all the time. You just got to go to socials. You see all the astrologers. I'm friends with some of them. They get all hyped up and excited. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, it's iconic. They're going to use these words and all this shit, and it's just all. It's all. It used to be where trends took a while to start and go, but because of the rapidness of what we're living in, it's like a trend needs to happen every single fucking day. And it's a byproduct of the way we're living in this fucked up hyper-capitalistic system that we're in. And then everybody who's using it to get to sell something. So you need to be the one who starts the trend. So you'll come up with anything. You'll read something in Valence, and then you like turn it in a more modern way, and then you post it because you hopefully get the follows and the hits. And then you use the current trendy words of the week with anxiety, and that combo is ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. So I should tell you how I really feel about all this. I like the transit. I like it because Venus, even though being in Pisces, and Mercury and all in Pisces, if you're the Piscean person, you're the person who's going through the Saturn return. Have you figured out what it is to have Saturn in your life and to understand it and accept it? At this part of the end of the transit of Saturn and Pisces, can you accept it? And I think maybe you have. And so you take moments like this and you're grateful for the boundaries that come through, that the rules that you first hated and were in fear of, that you've accepted and now you're working and seeing the benefit of and how it's needed. What else do you want with Mars vibing with all this? It goes back to several days I said ago with Mars Saturn positioning and what it is. Now we get to do it with Venus going backwards and Mercury. I don't know what else you want, people. This is it. Can I find other things that are fucked up? I'm sure. I don't. I'm on an altar, and I'm in this sacred place that it took me a while because I saw the entrance and it revealed itself to me, and I was scared. And I tried to turn around and go back. But when I turned around, I was facing the temple again. And I tried to leave and come back, but every time I turned around, I was facing the entrance of the temple. And so it didn't make any sense. And it scared me. Because the logical part of me needed to make sense of it all. Needed to make decisions. Needed to implement. Needed to fix. Needed to tweak. What happens when you can't do anything like that? One can go mad. And so I did. For a moment, it seemed like it was only 1 second, but it seemed like centuries. I went mad because I couldn't go back. I just kept facing the entrance to the temple. I don't know when it was, but it seemed like, not that I decided to walk in, but I found myself there. I surrendered, I let go, and I found myself in the temple. I didn't even walk upstairs or through the door. Like, I just found myself there. And it was dilapidated and damp. The hint of molds dripping. Stagnant. And there was nowhere else for me to go. So, as I wandered through and was scared, I realized there's nothing I could do except make myself at home. when I said that to myself, there's certain things that appeared. There was a broom. And other tools to push water along its way. And once I started to do that, I saw drains, little half-arced, half-mooned in the stone of the temple, places where water would come through. And when I was looking at it, where it drains out or was supposed to move through was completely filled with like rotting seaweed and shit. And it was all that other stuff, like it was backed up. And so that feeling when you find something backed up, or there's like a drainage and there's leaves over it or something, and then like you somehow move it with your feet and then the water rushes in. And it's like the best feeling in the world, by the way, that feeling of moving clogged drain. I love that feeling. And so that's what I did. And I don't know, over time, I don't know how long I was there, but I found myself working there, but it was meditative. And I found myself cleaning and scrubbing. And while I was doing that, I had all types of past stories come up in me, through me. And they were deeply emotional. And some of them, I don't even knew that were mine. It seemed like there was times when I was cleaning there that there was my memories and people that I was connected to in parts of my life. It was their emotional story too. And so I cleared those drains. And I kept going, and eventually, I don't know how long it took. It didn't matter. But I realized one day that I wasn't scared anymore. And I looked all around, and I stepped out, and I looked at everything. And I realized this place is incredible. It's beautiful. Why the hell was I so scared? And I heard voices. I saw spirits and ghosts and angels. And I had these conversations with them while I cleaned. And I remember saying to myself, am I mad? Is this madness in the temple? Or was that madness outside the temple? But what I felt was the answer to my question. Outside the temple, I was so scared and fear. But now in the temple, I don't feel that. And I remember laughing to myself saying, well, if I'm mad, by madness here, I like this kind of madness. Because it feels pretty good. And the temple's clean. And I got to upkeep it every day. And things are growing in the gardens now. Most of all, I love myself. I never have known that before. I am the temple. I am the clogged drains. I'm the herbs that are now growing. The honey that I taste from the bees that arrived. That's me. It took a little bit of work. Oh, actually, it took a lot of work. I just needed some focus. Some compassionate discipline. And I just needed to trust myself. And trust that I'm exactly. When I walked out the front door, whenever that was, I don't remember walking out of the door. I just found myself outside. Where there was rot were trees. Where there was stagnation, there were rivers. And the path revealed itself to me. The question then was, do I leave or do I walk the numerous paths in front of me? But that's the thing. The temple is everywhere. It's also symbolic. Because there is the temple. It's for real. But it's everywhere. Just needed a little bit of a kick in the ass. Some realization. And the only way I got there is because I was scared shitless. And I got to the point of surrendering. I see Denise in chat. I see a bunch of you there. Where the hell did that come from? Oh my God. I'm completely sober. Well, let's get out of here because I have one more thing to test on this stream. GME with a super chat. Right here, GME, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm buying avocados tomorrow. and a broom. Let's see if this works. As always, I pull from this deck. It's the Delphic Oracle cards deck. I got some new decks on the next couple streams. I'm gonna pull. There's some wild, oh my god, it's just my world. But let's do it. I don't even know. I don't know. You're wearing headphones. I'm panning that through your left and right. It's another test. I don't know what this stream was, but the new lighting is working and a new mic thing is working. And this is the card for the stream. This is a huge deck, by the way. It's like some work. These oracles are work. Okay, I gotta test my new thing. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Let's see if it works. Ninja camera. It does. It does. So, okay, I gotta enlarge this. I got a new camera set up in here, and it's totally primitive right now, and I'm gonna move it like this to get it even bigger so you could see. It's not gonna be as focused, but I'm gonna figure it out. So, number five. Something I was working on. This camera setup that I have. So for the future, when I'm doing other things, I got another rig I'm going to set up. Be overcome by justice. Being overcome by justice seems at first as a strange wording. The maxims of Apollo are all brief, as the god wanted to put as much information into a short sentence and be clear as possible. Overcome by justice seems to insinuate that justice is something that we do not naturally follow. By heart, we are all selfish beings, often first and foremost being driven by our own individual desires. And that is not wrong, but we have to open ourselves to the sides of justice, which can transcend or purify the egotism and enable the common good. The res publica, the society we're all benefit from. It also puts emphasis on you. Give yourself to justice, for it is all too common that people demand justice from others, but never subject themselves to it. So, the wording hints that one is to practice justice by becoming a just person yourself first. It's number 5 on the Delphic Oracle deck. Maybe Etsy. I don't know where he's got it these days. Whoever made this deck. I love it. Delphic Oracle cards. You can find it. So interesting. That's a whale or a dolphin or not. I gotta look that up. Justice. Thanks for coming on the test. I don't know if I'm going to leave this up. I have a new sound thing that I was trying out. The camera setup here is going to change, like from here, that I can put things. Soon I'll be able to do with the other rig I'm going to have up. I'm going to be doing book reviews finally. I'll be able to maybe put a book down so you guys can see the pages that I'm on while I'm talking on the camera like this. I still might have to have my fingers on it because I've been waiting for 3 years to do book reviews on this channel. I'm going to do them, some live, some recorded, and just go through, go, hey, look at this chapter and this. I like this book because of this. And the pages feel really good in my hands. I'm a Taurus rising, so you can hear all that stuff. So anyway, that's part of the reason it's coming along. There's another thing I'll be working on here, hopefully in the next 48 hours that I figure it out. It's all part of Mercury retrograde stuff that I do here in my space and other things to get ready for changing my streams up a little bit. Obviously, this new lighting setup, it is different, and I like it. There'll be some changes if I have my way in the next couple months with the actual backgrounds here. That's why I'm doing this bit by bit, because I have a little bit of time. Okay, so for those who joined tonight in chat for my little thing, I don't know what I was doing. I don't even know what I just said the last 10 minutes, whatever that was. Yeah, that's what's up. And to test something again, I'm going to do something else here just so I know like what it is to put something in front of this. When you don't follow your nature, there is a hole in the universe where you're supposed to be. That is an interesting Dane Rudyard a quote. Because usually it's 200 pages densely, humanistically, psychologically, Jungingly trying to break it down. But here is a sentence here where we go, when you don't follow your nature, there's a whole new universe where you're supposed to be. Well, I got to think on that one. You're welcome, everybody in chat. Let's end it let's do it this way. You know what? Hell, I'm not just talented enough. I'm motherfucking talented. I am talented. That is for sure. And so are you out there. Holy shit. I had to trust myself going to that temple. I didn't even know. You know the funny thing about Pisces stuff? Sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it. Sometimes you find yourself lost. To be found. You find yourself. You got to get lost. Well, outside that temple, in and walking out, wherever I am today, this challenge. I trust myself. Say it to yourself, people. I trust myself this week. I trust myself through eclipses. I trust myself on Saturday. If I'm going to go take some actions, protest. And if I'm not, I trust myself regardless. Maybe you're alone this weekend. Maybe you're sitting on the couch and you want to read your book, some fiction book, and you want to trip away. Go for it. Whatever you do. When the doubt comes in, I don't know. Say the words. Prepared. Yeah. Prepared. Because then you use your talents. I don't know what order you want to do it in. You know how it rolls on this channel. These are my 3 crazy mantra slides I have to say to myself and to all of you. Okay? Okay? Yeah. Hey, gotta go. Astrologer Mackenzie. Yes, his books are wordy. The Lunation Cycle book is dope. There's a lot of dope stuff out there by him. You just gotta take it in chunks if you're of that kind. Kiska is in the chat as a paid member. Thank you so much. A reminder, this Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific, my paid YouTube channel members and my paid Patreon members, I'm opening up the Zoom room for like an hour and 15 minutes max. I don't have much time on Sunday, and we'll be doing this during some of the transits we talked about. Who knows? Okay? I'll have a political live stream next week possibly, or whatever. I don't know quite yet. I want to go take a look at certain people's charts. I will get to that. But most importantly, my test worked tonight, and there'll be things I'll be tweaking in the background. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I had no clue how many people were here on this stream. Is this even real? Am I just talking to myself? Because it seems that way. But I'm a Gemini. I've had lots of practice. So say that. I hope you have a good rest of your week. My paid members, channel members, you saw the coupon code for sessions with me. You get a discount for those out there. If not, you're thinking about it, take a look at my schedule, subscribe, or go down below some bookings. I actually feel here when we get to Monday in the Mercury retrograde station, we start to move slowly, but the second half of April is where the action. It is where it starts to ramp up. And so if you're thinking about strategically at that point, how to move about, we're meditating these days on certain things, we're feeling stuff out, but as things start to move forward and get back into the Aries realm, I'm available, okay? I'm around, all right? On that note, I'll see you around, okay? Let's, I wish I had, no, it's just my face. It's just my face. Goodbye.